Hello again, Railroaders, and welcome back to another installment of CSX 101. Today we'll be discussing some regular moves from terminal to terminal, or yard to yard, using the Central Florida region as our exemplary area. So without further ado, let's get into CSX 101, yard to yard. Once again, we found ourselves in Folkston, Georgia, ready to document a regular yard-to-yard movement that occurs every day. The train in question being A764, a shuttle run between the giant Thomas Rice Yard in Waycross, the ex-Seaboard's Baldwin Yard, and also making stops in Jacksonville. This train seems to be getting bigger each day as it carries traffic for all industries around Baldwin and even Tropicana loads for transfer to the FEC in Jacksonville. Local folks call this a manifest, but CSX calls it a local, although it's usually over 8,000 feet in length, warranting the need for 2 to 3 big 6-axle locomotives. In about less than an hour, here he is again, taking a connection track from the Jessup sub into Rice Yard, where he'll pick up and drop off cars from and for Baldwin. Although Bradenton's traffic has declined over the years due to the opening of the Fort Pierce Tropicana plant on the FEC, 0823 is technically a unit train local that takes empties to the plant and returns with loads. You might be wondering what those freight cars on 0823 are from. Some are for the Seminole Gulf Railroad, but most of them are from Tropicana. The Bradenton plant makes everything inside of it. All plastic bottles, cardboard shipping boxes, and even the paper labels on all the boxes are made from inside of the Tropicana property lines. Those raw materials need to come from somewhere, so CSX has been chosen to take boxcars and hoppers down to the facility. There are definitely exceptions to what is considered a yard-to-yard movement, as all freight trains are moving from technically one terminal to another, but one train and its counterpart take this to a whole different level, a move that 30 years ago would be completely impossible. It's Q453, cresting the hill and barreling southbound towards the Dade City Historical Museum. Today, 453 has a Y&2 leader and a friendly crew, but we can't get acquainted with them just yet, as just one 453 takes 3 crews to make the 430-mile trip from Waycross to Miami. .453 and his northbound counterpart, 452, are yard-to-yard manifest, but they do a whole lot in between. On a normal day, 453 will leave Waycross in the early morning hours and run southbound into Wildwood. There he usually makes a massive drop-off of rock and box cars for Ocala and a small pickup of the empties. Once made into a consist again, he heads past Dade City and into Lakeland, usually via the Vitus sub. 10th Street or Lakeland Connection are both popular locations for a dispatcher to plan a crew change. Here's another 453, this one filmed on a chilly March morning with 2 of CSX's Pride and Service Spirit engines. After the crew change, 453 runs into Winston Yard, where he makes another pickup and drops some cars as well. He usually finishes his work and leaves for Miami after dark, but not after making a very important stop. You see those auto racks on the rear of the train? Those aren't for Miami or Winston, those are for Palm Center. On the outskirts of West Palm Beach and formerly in Jupiter, Florida, Palm Center handles all of these racks. 453 brings the load in, and 452 picks the empties up and takes them back north. In peak season, X453s may run as just auto rack shuttles, but that's for a separate video. Finally, Q453 will reach Miami in the early morning hours of the next day, about 24 hours after he left Waycross. This also depends on how long he spends in Winston and if he stops in Okeechobee to do some switching. This is the main reason why train symbols have those 2 digits after the ID. This is Q45324. The 24 is the date that the train entered the system, making this the Q453 of July 24th. This is very important because a dispatcher may see 2 Q453s on his chart, one passing Folkston and one trying to enter Hialeah Yard in Miami. Here's another yard-to-yard run, today being A782. This train started the morning in Winston Yard with these rock hoppers and now is running north about 60 miles into Wildwood and the yard there. These cars are probably destined for the Conrad Yelvington Distribution Center located at the south end of the yard, or maybe Coleman, but those are just guesses. A nice surprise is this Dash 8 liter with a full head of steam through Vitus Junction. This is a rare sight nowadays, as A782 now runs south to Vitus and maybe Lumberton, never though to Winston. Q452 and 453 have taken away those jobs. On the bright side, CSX has created, once again, another local out of Wildwood, A785, which operates Monday through Fridays, departing Wildwood at about 8 p.m. and heading up to Ocala and working industries in between. A782 will still run every day, just always south of Wildwood, departing at 8 a.m. Here's another train that's becoming more rare as each day passes. This is EO40, an empty coal train from Orlando's OUC power plant back to the mine in Evansville, Indiana. Ah yes, the rhythm of the diamond in Crawford, Florida, where the CSX Callahan sub crossed the X, GSNF, and now Norfolk Southern main line into Jacksonville. To the naked eye, EO40 doesn't look like a yard-to-yard manifest, as it's an empty coal train going back to a mine, not a terminal, right? Wrong. This train is actually headed into CSX's giant Evansville yard, where after the power has been taken off, a yard job will take the consist 5 miles north into the mine for reloading. But before that, this train is technically going towards the yard. Last up is Q213. This is a train that used to run from Baldwin to Tampa as an autorack shuttle. Located on the Clearwater subdivision, Drew Park is Tampa's automobile distribution center. All those racks on 441 and this Q213 are taken to Drew via a local and brought back to Yeoman once unloaded. These shuttles used to run in peak season, and sometimes an X453 will be seen, but other than that, these autorack shuttles are a thing of the past here in Florida. It might be years before Tampa is ready to receive unit trains of these again, but hey, who knows, especially with the increase in the housing industry around Tampa. From a rail fan's point of view, I hope it's soon. I hope you've enjoyed this installation of CSX 101, and please be sure to leave a comment on what you want to see next. Thanks for watching, but until next time, this is CSX 101, yard to yard, end of transmission.